What happens when a band you love finally comes back after a long silence? Of course, you expect a triumph, right? But sometimes, a great comeback can also feel bittersweet. So today, I'm gonna be diving into the brand new single "Biyaya" by Dear Juliet, and I'll explain why the song is both a phenomenal hit and a bittersweet opportunity. Cue the intro. Hey everybody, welcome back to Usapang Musiko with Ervin Besana, and of course, I'm still Ervin. Welcome back. So it's been a while. I think my last upload was, I don't know, like 2 months ago. I think yung last na episode na release ko is August, first week of August. So I have to first, let you know what happened. So I got sick. So during the month of August, I got sick, and knowing some of you guys know who I am. I'm diabetic and I have hypertension. So every time I get sick, it's like really, really bad. And at the same time, my band, Enjoin PH, toured um saan ba kami nun? Sa Coron, Palawan. So nangyari is naging busy si Enjoin with their tour. And then I got sick. And of course, as you guys know, this passion project of mine is not really, hindi pa ako, I'm not earning anything from this one. Hopefully, the second season mag-earn siya kasi it's another announcement. I'm gonna be focusing more on music reviews, album reviews, EPs, single reviews. So I feel like before sobrang madaming topics na nangyayari hand in hand eh. And I feel like it's too much for me to what they do. So I'm gonna be focusing more on the channel gradually, not gradually, pero starting episode 9, we'll be focusing more on music reviews, album reviews, EP reviews, wherein I'm gonna express my honest opinion. I'm gonna be as honest as possible. And of course, if you like my content, I'm pretty sure you like my content kasi yun yung madalas mga na-appreciate and maraming nakikinig and maraming nag-aabang. So I'll be focusing more on that, and probably I'll be changing the name of the channel as well. Since hindi na siya more on Usapang Musiko. Yeah, it's still Usapang Musiko, pero it's more of like just reviews, EPs, albums, song reviews. So probably I'll be changing it to the Filipino music reviewer, the Filipino music critic. I don't know. So I'm gonna be moving towards that direction na as we go along. So I have a couple of reviews that are already you know, in the oven, as they say. And naka-ready na, and kumbaga, it's just gonna be for me to record. So, and at the same time, the good thing about what I'm gonna be doing moving forward is I'm just gonna take it one at a time. Meaning, I'm not gonna bank on episodes, and hindi na siya mas detailed and mas guided as much as possible. Kasi before, as you guys know, medyo guided talaga siya eh. And I don't have complaints on that. I actually like it. It's just that I feel like my personality,
aka you're a sociopath,
my self being is being guarded. I don't know if that's the right term, pero I feel like it's not as natural, as real as I am. Moving forward, I'll just be more focusing more on talking points. Yun nga, it's gonna be more on music reviews. I'll be talking about songs, EPs, and then albums, and then it's gonna be more on just me talking about talking points. And at the same time, aside from the episode that you guys will be listening to, my music reviews, yung mga songs na I will be reviewing on this podcast will be available din sa Substack ko. So you will have your own personal like area wherein you can check from time to time yung review na ginawa ko sa mga songs nyo. And again, I'll be starting with my friends first. Kasi I don't want to to take in reviews from strangers muna. Well, a couple of days ago, what I did is, hingi ako ng mga reviews ng mga post ako ng mga gustong magpa-review, and marami naman akong na-receive, pero I'll be focusing more on my friends first. Kasi I know that I can be as honest to them as possible. And then if it permits, kumbaga 'pag nabigyan tayo ng permission ng mga tao, then we'll focus more on what I want to review. And the good thing about this is I'm doing this, professionally. So
But fear not, for I am a professional.
I publish articles anti-pop-punk club.com, and it's like the gatekeeper space, so you can check out my articles sa Linktree ko, which is going to be available in the description of this episode. And then Substack ko. So Substack will be what I call is pro bono, kasi again hindi pa payad si podcast. So yeah, and then lastly, yung bagong update natin, sorry, I'm trying to make it as conducive as possible para moving forward, hindi na tayo, kumbaga parang, hindi na siya hiwalay na episode. So, moving forward will be on Spotify, and rest of the podcasting platforms will be moving to audio. And then the video will only be available on YouTube. What is the reason why I'm doing this in the first place? I want exclusivity, meaning if you really want to watch the video in full length, like video, I mean, the audio version is gonna be full length din naman, pero if you want to see me live, not really live in video, then you have to go to YouTube. And then if you just want to listen to the episode, on audio while you're doing your chores, or whatever you're doing, then you can go to Spotify, to Apple Podcasts, or kung saan mang podcasting platforms kayo nakikinig. So at least on that part, I don't need to upload videos to Spotify and then other platforms. I'm just gonna be focusing on audio for that. And then if you want more exclusivity, you can join my group, which is Mga Friends and Family Usapang Musika with Ervin Besana sa Facebook. So I will link that on the description as well. So let's move on to our first music review. So Dear Juliet's track Biyaya is their newest single as of this writing. It is written by Adrian Lawrence, he's Ayel or Yael, I'm sorry man. And it's recorded, produced, mixed and mastered by SJ Lilo at Big Black Hole Recordings. And I just want to share that SJ is the one that recorded, produced, mixed, and mastered our songs and joined PhD Nasba. So pretty sure it's gonna be a banger. So here's what we're gonna do next. If you want to listen to it, you can stay on Spotify. I'm gonna link it in the description below. Sa Spotify, sa YouTube, or whatnot. So let's listen to the song. That is Biyaya by Dear Juliet. So let's talk about the song itself. Biyaya, of course, by Dear Juliet. So this is their newest single as of this writing. So I'm recording this on a Sunday night, and the following day, kasi yun nga yung isa sa mga bagong gagawin ko in the near future.
Sensational.
I'm not gonna stress myself with, banking on episodes. So I'm gonna do it one step at a time. If I have a new episode the following week, then I will. If I don't, then I'm sorry. Kasi, again, di pa tayo nababayaran dito. I've been doing this for quite a while now, man. So, again, this is their newest single as of this writing. And this is written by Adrian Lawrence, recorded, mixed, and mastered by, of course, the one and only My Glory Days, SJ Lilo at Big Black Core Recordings. And then yung tumira sa mga kanta ng Letter Day Story, of course, Simon sa Enjoy, and a lot more artists. So let me discuss the track in length, and then let me expound why I feel like this is a bittersweet comeback. So Biyaya started with this, raw sound drums, which eventually transitioned to this quantized track. alongside the other instruments. So it gives this alluring, everything is coming together feel, which in all honesty emphasizes BBC's unique artistry. And the thing about it is that recently it's becoming a common trend because a lot of people are already very creative when it comes to producing and arranging their songs. I think what I like about this intro is that, I don't have a say with how SJ produces songs. He's a genius at what he does. And of course, in Dear Juliet fashion, it comes with this, genty, chuggy guitar riff in the intro. It's it's cleverly marking its territory. I wrote this specific line like it's not a Dear Juliet song if it doesn't have that melodical harmonic guitar riff because it's prominent and it's readily available in almost all of their singles from their previous singles. Makikita nyo talaga, and if you're gonna listen to their discography, their previous singles, nandun yung identity ni Dear Juliet or ni DJ na meron siyang melodical harmonic guitar riff. And then in my honest opinion, Dear Juliet is gearing towards this, futuristic style in creating music, which got its start with, their previous single, Bittersweet Goodbye. And the connection with that is that in this particular track, futuristic sample beats are prominent in the first verse. And then it's, correct me if I'm wrong, it's part of dun sa latest single nila or dun sa old single nila, which is Bittersweet Goodbye. That specific futuristic kind of thing is available dun sa bridge part, which made the connection of what they're doing right now. Kasi ito yung Bittersweet Goodbye and then yung latest nila After a Year. So, kumbaga, nandun yung connection.
Wait a minute.
And again, as I said, it gives off this old school meets new school feel alongside the synthy keyboard sample in the background. If you're listening closely and if you're gonna listen to it like 2 to 3 times, you'll hear the synthy keyboard sample. So probably, I'm just saying, I'll be expecting that in the future releases, it will be a mainstay in their sound. It's gonna be one step closer to evolution. Kumbaga. And of course, another Dear Juliet classic is the rhythmic lead licks in the chorus parts. And it is very prominent and it's always there. If you're gonna backtrack again your discography ng Dear Juliet, you'll hear mostly in the intro and then the chorus parts yung um melodic lead licks.
Not again.
Now it's not really as in your face, pero you can hear that it creates this story, kumbaga. And I know we've heard of it, and it has been a prominent style in the early to late 2010 sound. It's that specific style is prominent. The word day is prominent, but it's been a mainstay in the early to late 2000 sounds, which is a hit or miss nowadays. But when Dear Juliet is doing it, it's always a hit. I don't have any issues with that. When it comes to the lyrics, by the way, I forgot to mention the written form. If you want to read my review, so what I usually do is I write it first and then I talk about it. If you want to read it in its whole entirety, you can go to my Substack. It's gonna be available when this episode drops, which is gonna be tomorrow, Monday at 9 p.m. in the evening. Okay, 9 p.m. or 10 p.m. I don't know, but
Are you sure about that?
announce ko na lang. And then on the lyrics itself, the song's main theme is about expressing support and enduring love during difficult times. And when I was talking to CJ, which is yung vocalist nila, this is AL's singing debut. At the same time, this is his song to her wife or to her partner. So it's not really That's why it has this, alam mo yun, this cheesy feel, cheesy lines, kumbaga. You know, phrases like, hindi ka ba napapagod sa dami ng problema mo, nakangiti sa kawalan, huminga ng malalim, ako'y kasama mo na, are just a few examples of this profound, you know, life-changing feeling when you are deeply in love with a significant other, which goes hand in hand, of course, AL's and, kumbaga, kanta niya sa partner niya. So kudos, man. I really like the flow, or like the lyrics. Now, before I go to my critique, I just want to say that every music critic's critique in itself is always subjective. You will never hear, well, for me, based on my observation, based on how I listen to critics do their critiques, they're not going to give you like a specific solution into what your problem is or what their critique is. As an artist and as someone that's listening to this podcast or to this episode, or if you're a singer, songwriter, producer, whatever a music critic is going to be saying, you need to take it with a grain of salt. This is a disclaimer because I got a lot of heat every time I provide my critique with songs because it feels like I'm dumbing down or I'm punching down on the artist. No, it's a critique is always a subjective opinion or a professional subjective opinion. Why am I saying a professional subjective opinion? Because I'm getting paid to do this, you know, for a living.
Yeah, well, that's just like your opinion, man.
And this is just my opinion. So again, take it with a grain of salt. And good thing about this is that these are my friends. Before I release this episode, they've already read. We've already had a chance to talk. We've already had the chance to really, I mean, have a conversation about my critique. And the good thing about my friends is that they're my friends. It's not. I'm not bashing them. I'm just telling them my honest opinion. And there's always a difference between being a critic and being a hater.
Wait.
All of you!
Daddy, chill.
Always take that with a grain of salt and always be mindful of your words. Wow, how ironic is that phrase? But my critique on this is that, you know, they've been out for almost a year, you know, due to personal issues and a lot more that doesn't need, to be honest, a further discussion. And this song has been brewing for a year. We've been, you know, I've been hearing clips of this song for like how many times already, and I've been telling them, specifically kay SJ, I've been asking him, kailan nyo lalabas to? But of course, due to personal issues, hindi siya nakakalabas. As an artist and a musician myself, and I'm gonna include as a music critic, there are certain parts that I feel like, you know, very expected, that didn't really have that shock factor. Yes, it's good that Dear Juliet has released a new single. But for me, if it's just going to be the same formula, like the same formula as to how Bittersweet Goodbye sounded, then I would be happy. I would be happy to wait for a few more months and to just binge listen to the old songs. I mean, for me, kasi this is crucial because this is their biggest comeback as of today. As of today, it has been a year, and it's very prominent. They have a following kasi they have like 27,000 monthly listeners and a lot of listeners on Spotify that are waiting for the next song. Of course, it's always going to be half-hearted, or kumbaga kalahati yung opinion dyan that will say that, yeah, I like it kasi it's Dear Juliet. It's their identity. The thing is, you know, it's not about, for me, in their stage and in their career, it's not about how many songs are you going to release. Right now, they are on their top of their game, and the question should be, how can I top my previous art? You see, we already know how and what Dear Juliet is. Alam na natin yan, yung riffs, yung intro riff na ginagawa nila, yung mga lick na ginagawa sa chorus. Same goes, man. It's it has been kumbaga the thing about that is it was pretty expected dito sa song na 'to. And to be honest, I felt like it's the same formula, the same expected hook, the same intro and then chorus lick. And I think that's the challenge with current artists, especially with artists like Dear Juliet that already has a following. And even dun sa mga ibang mga artist. In their case kasi they already have a name eh. And we've already known them. Some fans will say that I like it kasi it's the OG Dear Juliet sound. Some fans will say that like for me, will say it's the same. I can just put it in just one song and then just create a remix of it. For me, I'm waiting for that. What's new? It has been a year, so are we just gonna revive the old songs because they've been a hit, or are we going to get outside of our comfort zone and create something different, but still has that Dear Juliet sound? And yun nga, dun sa sinulat ko, I think that's a challenge with current artists and now and even before. It's not always about how many songs you can release. It's about how can I top my previous art. And for me, that should always be the case with everyone in this industry. And yeah, I mean, there you have it. That's my review of Biyaya by Dear Juliet. If you want to listen to the song, you can go ahead and check it out on Spotify, on YouTube. My lyric videos, sila, follow them on their socials. And then for me, if you want to read my review, it's available on Substack. It's going to be on the description box of this, on the description of this episode. And then you can follow me on my socials. And let me know, what do you think of the song? I know we're gonna have a different opinion, which is really great. But for me, overall, to be honest, for me, it's really good. I really like it. I like that Dear Juliet is back. But as a music critic, I'm still waiting for that. Well, how can they top their previous art? See, Bittersweet Goodbye is already in there. I'm not saying that Biyaya is not there. I'm just saying that it feels like it's a continued song of Bittersweet Goodbye because it has the same old, formula.
It's free real estate.
I would really appreciate Sandali and the other songs because it has a different style, a different approach to it compared to Bittersweet Goodbye. And Bittersweet Goodbye is moving towards that futuristic kind of sound with all the samples and all that, which has the same identity, the same style with Biyaya, which is like a year apart. Yeah, I mean for me that's my honest take. That's my professional take on this. So what do you think? What do you think of my critique? And let me know down in the comments. Thank you guys. Yeah, bye.